17, 2022. The time is now 4:30. We're going to call to order a special call meeting for the City of Statesboro, Mayor and Council. We are here today for a consideration of a motion to approve a pilot, which is a payment in lieu of taxes agreement between the City of Statesboro, the Development Authority of Bullock County Board of Commissioners, the Board of Tax Assessors of Bullock County, and private developer. Mr. Penny, if you will, give us some insight on that.
Mayor, members of the council, our city attorney may have to help us. The payment in lieu of taxes, the city is a party to that agreement, although all the property is outside the city limits. We are required to sign this document, and basically, if for some reason we ever did get that far out, they want to make sure that everything stays in place. So that's the reason we're being asked to approve this agreement and be a signatory on the document. We do recommend approval and ask for authorization for you to be able to execute the agreement. If you want more details on it, I'll have to yield to our city attorney, and he is well versed in that agreement.
Okay. Okay, is there any additional information that the council should be able to?
Yes, Mayor and Council. One thing that was, I put in here that the city would not impose those ad valorem taxes during the term of the lease or any extension. I just want to be clear on that the maximum term of this lease is 10 years.
Okay.
So we don't anticipate this parcel falling in the incorporated area or within the fire district within that lease term.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ken. Any discussion by council?
So after the 10 years, then there wouldn't be income generated from ad valorem taxes?
Well, if the city would not receive that income because this site is not in the fire district or within our limits, but if either of those became operative, that it was in the fire district or in sealants, then taxes could be in place after the term of the lease.
It's just spelling out that it's not free forever, if we should
That's
expand
correct.
that direction.
That is, and the maximum lease term is 10 years from the completion of the facility.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions by council? All right. Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And John is it.
Okay.
Aye.
All right, thank you, guys. All right, so, let us show that agenda item number 2 is passed, with a 5-0 vote. All right, we'll move down to agenda item 3, consideration of a motion to approve an inducement agreement between the City of Statesboro, Development Authority of Bullock County Board of Commissioners, and private developer. Mr. Penny, if you will.
Mayor, members of the council, this inducement agreement, we are a party to, a participating party to this. This inducement agreement is impacted because we are recommending that you commit $500,000 to extend water and sewer into the park. And in addition, we will also be extending gas into the park. And the costs will be more than $500,000. But in order to pay for the full cost, there's a grant that we will apply for, but the inducement agreement states that we're gonna commit at least $500,000. With the cost going over, if we don't, with the grant, we get the grant, I think it's about $750,000, that would be $1.25 million. If the cost to extend those utilities exceeds that amount, then Aspen Air Jail will be responsible for covering the overage. And then again, if for some reason they do not meet the goals that are established in the inducement agreement, there is a provision for us to recapture some of those expenditures over a period of 5 years. I think it's like 12.5% a year for 5 years for repayment if they fail to meet the the investment amount, which is, they're committing to $325 million to invest for this project. And they also are committing to hire 250 employees. Now, as a part of the agreement, there's some recognizing the market that we're in, there is some concern that they may not be able to meet all the employment goals. Right now, unemployment in our area is like 2.7%, so basically no unemployment. And so being able to have the labor force to be able to fill the job may be some issue. So there's also, and just heard this from the Development Authority, if they $325 million in investment, but if they were to exceed that investment over a certain amount of money, I think it's almost another $170 million, then there's some trade-off between the jobs versus the investment. But recognizing that there are some measures to try to mitigate if for some reason then they have an issue with the labor pool. But the hope is that we get the $325 million plus some other added benefits, and they're able to hire 250 employees. And I think that commitment is like a 5-year commitment. The state's commitment is less, but as a part of the negotiation, the county and development authority asked for a 5-year commitment from the company, and so we got a little bit longer.
Okay, thank you. All right, any discussion by council?
What's the starting pay for the employees?
Now, when we've heard from the company, they talked about an average income of about $62,000, but I know from being at the Development Authority, I think they start the minimum pay is something like $18.22 to start. And that's based on the county's current level, but the information I remember is that the average job should be about $62,000.
Any further discussion by council?
Do we know how much anticipated water usage, utilities usage?
If I remember correctly, and Jason helped me, I think we're talking about 80,000. This could potentially be one of our largest water users.
Right.
Something like 85,000 gallons a day.
Approximately.
In that area. The good thing for the city, we've been running infrastructure out there for a long time. The payback on this project is 2 years. And that's a good thing.
Yep.
Mr. Mayor, so for
Yes.
the benefit of folks who haven't been to any of the other press releases and don't know about this yet, they might be following us, could you just restate briefly why we're doing this and what the big project is that we're excited about? About- Can we?
It's been released.
Okay.
It has been released. And so, I want to make sure, and I don't know if I can, this is a new industry that would come to I-16, an industrial park that we've been developing since about 2013. And the Aspen Air Gel actually is a company that was courted for this community back in 2015. And at that point, they pulled back, and I think maybe the market got a little soft, so they pulled back. But they stayed in contact with the Development Authority, so they came back because, and Aspen Air Gel is related to electric vehicles, batteries. I believe that, I'm not saying they're gonna make batteries, but it's related to the electric vehicle industry.
Insulation. And battery insulation.
Battery installation. So what they're coming to our industrial park out on I-16, 500,000 square feet of space that would be built in the industrial park. And it, again, just a tremendous investment, $325 million, minimum of $325 million, and at least 250 jobs that would be created by this plant that would be built on I-16. It's a great benefit to our community, and it's what we've been hoping for. And that's why the city made the commitment many years ago to work with the county to extend. So now it should pay off.
And it looks so good, so the city and the county and the development authority are all working together to make this happen.
And the state,
This is our part.
Yes.
Thank you.
So you say this money here will be recouped within 2 years?
Yes.
So we're looking at, if you include the grant money, are you including the grant money in that or not? No. So you're talking about $250 a year, or are we talking 500?
On this?
You have two on the total. Two something on the total.
Jason says it's 1 year on our investment, 2 year on the total.
Our investment is 500?
Yeah.
I got you. So we're gonna generate somewhere in the neighborhood of $500,000 a year in water revenue? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Water, sewer.
Water, sewer, gas?
And gas.
Utilities, sorry.
Yes.
Super.
It is.
Yeah, that's really good.
It is. Any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Employee
Aye.
Assistance Program.
Aye.
All right. All right, we'll move down to agenda item 4, other business from city council. Is there any other business from city council? All right. Seeing that there is none, are there any city manager comments?
Mayor and members of council, just wanted to make something that will be coming before you. We talked about that grant. And so as a part of this, the city will be applying for the grant. So there are some things that we have to do. So I'm not asking you for any approval, but I did want to just make you aware, because that is employee incentive
Employee
incentive program. There's federal money there. There are certain things that certain procedures and protocols we have to follow. Because if we don't follow those protocols, they can stop us and make us start all over. So what we are gonna begin doing, we will start an advertisement before we come back to you. At the next meeting, when we come to you, we'll ask for authorization to actually apply for the grant. But I just wanted to make you aware that we will start some preliminary process to get notices out, but we will, on our March 1st agenda, you will have, because there's a time period, like a 30-day period,
Correct.
that it has to be out. So we don't want to wait till March 1st to start that, because there's some timelines that the company wants to meet. However, and we had hoped that we would just be able to work with our current engineering firm, and we may end up doing that. But because of federal procurement requirements, we've got to follow that process. So I just wanted to make you aware that we'll be back before you ask for authorization to apply for the grant, but we're starting the clock ticking with some advertisements in advance.
So don't get nervous if you see it in the paper.
Right, don't get nervous.
All right, good deal. We'll move down to agenda item 6, which is consideration of a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right.